What is up, gang? I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope you're having a great day. I know I'm having a good day because it's only a couple of more days until Artur Beterbiev takes on Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. And I have been looking forward to this fight for a very long time because I'm a fan of both guys, and I think this stylistic matchup is really going to be a fun fight. Um, One of the good things in boxing that has been going on over the last couple of years is we've been seeing unification fights and fights for undisputed championships. And I think that's always better because you're getting the best guys in the world fighting the best guys in the world with stakes. And that's when it means the most, when you have something valuable on the line. And in this case, it doesn't get any bigger than the undisputed championship. You have all four belts. Beterbiev, who was 20-0 with 20 knockouts. Think about that record. He has the WBC, the WBO, and the IBF championships. Dmitry Bivol, who is the favorite in the fight and has the WBA championship, is 23-0 with 12 knockouts. And I think it's really the fight of all the undisputed fights that have happened over the last, 3, 4, 5 years. This is the one I'm looking forward to the most of all, just because of the guys involved in it and the kind of fight that I think it is going to be. Now, I'll say I think this fight is being criminally underpromoted because neither of these guys are big talkers. They don't like to do interviews. They don't like to talk. I saw an interview with Dmitry Bivol. I think it was on BT Sport, but I could be mistaken on that. But anyways, Bivol said, "I will talk in the ring." And of course, that's where we want them to talk. We want to see them step their games up when the bright lights are on and the bell rings and they are going. But having said that, I wish that there was more promotion of this fight going on because I think this fight is so good, and I think it's going to bring new people to boxing. Like if you bring somebody who maybe was a boxing fan before and they kind of lapsed, and you bring them in and show them this fight, I think you'll regain them as a boxing fan. And if there's somebody who maybe grew up a younger person and they are an MMA fan and they haven't followed boxing at all, and you show them this, I think they too will become a boxing fan because I think this is going to be that kind of a fight. It's going to be a strategic fight. It's going to be a tactical fight, but it's going to be a very highly skilled fight. Beterbiev, and I'm writing about him today as I do this video. He sometimes gets tagged as like this knockout, this slugger, and so some people want to say it's boxer versus slugger. And I think both guys are really good boxers. Beterbiev has really good punching power. Obviously by 20 knockouts and 20 fights, but he is not like. Think of Ernie Shavers. Like for those of you who go back a ways and you can remember Ernie Shavers. Ernie Shavers just, if he hit you on the chin with a punch, gone. You were out. I mean, that was just the way it was. Ernie Shavers was one of the hardest punchers. And no matter what punch he threw, whether it was a jab, a hook, a straight right hand, whatever, Ernie, who was nicknamed the Acorn by Muhammad Ali, he would hit you on the chin and you were gone. And I mean, it was all over. Artur Beterbiev is not like that. Beterbiev is one of those guys that when he hits you, boy, it's like a thudding punch and it just hurts and you feel it all over your body. And, while he does have one punch power, he's more a guy that's going to stop you during the fight. He's going to hit you and hit you and hit you. And then finally, you just can't take anymore. And maybe he's been working the body. And so the guard's down low to protect the ribs, or, the arms have been getting beaten on. He's hitting you on the arms and you just can't lift your arms anymore. And then he takes advantage and he's in such good condition himself. He then goes upstairs and he finishes the job. And I think that's what we saw when he fought Alexander Gadzik, right? That was a really good, really close fight for a long way through that. But part of the strategy that Beterbiev had in that fight was just to lay hands on Gadzik, right? And that was just one of those things because they knew that eventually he would get tired of that and he wouldn't be able to take it anymore. And sure enough, as the fight wore on in the 8th, 9th, and then eventually the 10th round where the fight ended, he wasn't able to, and Arthur scored the knockout victory in a unification fight there. But it's interesting because now you're looking at Dmitry Bivol, and you're looking at a guy who has a win over Canelo Alvarez, who has really just proven to be a superb boxer and a guy that's not easy to hit, but who can throw a lot of punches and land his own shots, right? So that is a rare guy indeed. Now, do I anticipate Dmitry Bivol fighting a similar fight to the way, say, he fought against Canelo Alvarez? And I do not. I actually was talking to Carl Moretti of Top Rank about this, and I pointed out how so many times in that fight with Canelo, you saw Bivol moving forward and back Canelo into the ropes and everything. He was dictating the way the fight went. I don't think he's going to do that to Artur. I think you're going to see him go in and out, side to side. He's going to try to zig when Artur zags, and kind of just keep Artur from getting his feet set so he can throw his punches. Right. I think that's going to be where Dmitry. I think you'll see jab, right hand. I think you'll see him maybe throw a couple lead hooks. Right. You'll see him dig to the body a little bit, but I don't think you're ever going to see him put his back on the ropes. I don't think you're going to ever see him move to the corner, and I don't think you're going to see him walking down Beterbiev. I think that would be a mistake from his point of view. I think he's going to fight a very smart, very tactical fight. Now, is that going to be enough against a guy, in my mind, who is the best light heavyweight right now in Artur Beterbiev? I have Beterbiev ranked 4th pound for pound on KevinIole.com. And I was thinking the other day, where do these guys rank? Let's say whoever wins this fight. So where do they rank with the greatest heavyweights of the last 50 years? Because I grew up in the 1970s. And there were a million really good heavyweights back then. And going into the 80s, the 70s and 80s was a golden era for light heavyweights at that period of time. Some of them moved up to cruiserweight, but you're talking about guys like Marvin Johnson, Victor Galindez, Mike Rossman, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Michael Spinks came along at that point in time. Really good, really skilled, really technical light heavyweights. Bob Foster kind of was he was more in the 60s than in the 70s, but he kind of went into the 70s a little bit too. Bob Foster, one of the best light heavyweights who ever lived, wasn't great at heavyweight, but he was fantastic at light heavyweight, one of the best light heavyweights ever. In my mind, the best light heavyweights of all time are probably Ezra Charles, who never actually held a light heavyweight belt, but was a heavyweight champion. Archie Moore was another one, and I have to have Roy Jones up there, right? I don't think that the winner of this fight is going to be with that level of guy. I just don't think that they have enough body of work, and they haven't demonstrated the skill set to be in that elite range. But I think if you bring them down one step, I think we're looking at these guys being among the best 5, 6, or 7 light heavyweights of the last 50 years. And think of how many great light heavyweights there have been in the last 50 years, because in addition to the ones that I just mentioned, more modern light heavyweights, Andre Ward, Joe Calzaghe, Bernard Hopkins, Antonio Tarver, Sergey Kovalev. There have been a lot of really good light heavyweights recently, right? So when I'm saying that I think these guys are, going to be in the top 5 or top 10 of the greatest light heavyweights of the last 50 years, believe me, that is a major, major compliment. I mean, because they are extremely good. So anyways, I hope you get a chance to catch the fight. I think it's going to be fantastic. I am going to pick Artur Beterbiev to win this fight. I think he's just a little bit better than Dmitry Bivol in all areas. He is the underdog in the fight, so I like that. I like playing underdogs. In my betting column on KevinIole.com, I made 3 plays, and I will stick with those. Beterbiev to win. I got him the other day at DraftKings at +120. Beterbiev to win by decision, and I'll explain that in a second. But I got him at that at +700, and then over 10.5 rounds, -205 to play the over on that one. So I think it's going to be a long fight. I think Bivol is going to move a lot, and I don't think Artur is going to be able to finish him, like he has finished so many of these other guys. I think Bivol is a really smart boxer, and he's going to know that he cannot afford to get cracked and caught by Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev is going to land the harder shots, and I think he is going to do the things that I said in the beginning of the video in terms of piling on the punishment and making Bivol feel really, really uncomfortable. But I just think Dmitry is a good enough boxer and a tough enough guy that he's going to be able to make it to the finish line. So those are my 3 plays that I have on the fight. But I just can't wait to see this bout, and I hope it lives up to the billing, because these guys deserve the spotlight that they are going to get on Saturday in Riyadh. And I think it's good for us as fans, because we're getting a lot of clarity in the sport right now. Unfortunately, what we see is a guy wins the Undisputed Championship, and then, within a couple of months, it's broken up. But at least we know in the heavyweight division right now that Alexander Usyk is the man. We know at super middleweight that Canelo Alvarez is the man, even though they don't have all the belts right now. But we know who the best fighters in those divisions are definitively, because they won all the belts. And so we got that. And I think we're going to get that out of this fight on Saturday. And so I really like that. I really hope you tune in. It's on ESPN Plus in the United States. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight, and I hope you enjoy it. I will talk to you guys again soon. Enjoy your day. Be well.